Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to ET Education Presents the Leadership Discussions in association with Coursera. I'm your host, Devina Lason, and on this series, we take a deep dive into advancing higher education in India with national stalwarts from the education sector. So, as we know, the education landscape is truly evolving faster than ever before. We are seeing digital transformation, deeper industry collaboration, and of course, a growing demand for future ready skills. And as universities adapt to this new reality, we are seeing a clear shift towards experiential learning, micro credentials, and technologies like Gen AI, and so much more that are truly reshaping how we teach and how we learn. So, today we are joined by two very visionary leaders who are at the forefront of this transformation. I'm thrilled to welcome Professor Yashavantha Dongre, Vice Chancellor, Chanakya University, Bengaluru,
Namaste.
and Namaskar, and Prashasti Rastogi, Senior Director at Coursera. And together they're going to share their insights on how institutions can build agility, relevance, and innovation and really weave it into the very fabric of higher education in India. So, without further ado, once again to our speakers, a very warm welcome. We are so happy to have you here today. Thanks for joining. Professor, let's start with you. If you could help us at the very onset, just set some context here. We are seeing India's higher education ecosystem going through a very pivotal moment. We are seeing various forces like policy reforms, digital transformation, and of course, the evolving learner expectations. So, from your perspective, what would you say are some of the most significant opportunities that universities must respond to today to keep up with this evolving landscape?
Yeah, I think thank you for that, bringing in that dimension, which I think is very critical today. What we see today is a whole lot of change and a very fast change taking all around us. And these, to my mind, are of three types. One is in terms of the requirement of skill sets, other in terms of the kind of technology change that is happening, including AI push and those related things. The third is very critical of the mindset of the learners, the Gen Z or whatever you call now. So if I put these together and look at what's happening to higher education, first thing that strikes to me is that the whole purpose of higher education remains the same. It's all about how do we build a mindset, a thinking skill, and how do you help young people to be able to decide on what they want to be and how to go about it. That has not changed. But the ecosystem of facilitating it is going undergoing tremendous change. So how do we put these things to the best use to facilitate learning at that level? I'm looking at it as a process of preparing young people of India to be at a level where they could be accepted anywhere in the world, but will come with a mindset to stay back in India and work for India. Now, I'm saying this because we are now at a stage where I think the takeoff is possible for India to really expand and grow. And that needs a whole lot of really young leaders.
Thank you for that, Professor. What an inspiring note to start on. And Prashasti, would love to get you in right here, from Coursera's perspective as well. As you see the higher education landscape evolving, meeting the needs of a rapidly changing workforce is truly critical today. So, how would you say that the future of higher ed is taking shape? And what role can platforms like Coursera play in supporting institutions, supporting the educators, and of course the learners along this entire journey?
Devina, this is my favorite question, and Dr. Professor Dongre has put a very nice wrapper around it, right? And I completely resonate with what he said. So, first thing is the pace of advancement in technology is unprecedented, right? And this puts universities into an unprecedented challenge where, the current education system, if not responded very early, will deal with obsolescence of curriculums. It will deal with danger of stagnation because we might be preparing students what AI can do for free, and the daily learning of a human individual, the daily life skills, as we call it, right? Critical thinking, human interaction, creative curiosity, all of that is becoming now gold because there's a lot of automation that AI has brought about in our life. We need students who are able to learn faster, who are able to adapt faster, but at the same time bring a couple of hygiene skills which are very, very basic to working in the industry because everything is technologically modified, right? So there should be curiosity, there should be an understanding of how to work alongside, but with AI, there should be a respect for data. And these are skills that were traditionally, siloed in computer science or technology departments and very, so to say, not popular in streams like liberal arts and humanities. And it's equally important there as well. Vehicles are now electric. And we're dealing with a completely different mechanical engineer who needs to, or automobile engineer who needs to sit in those industries to be able to work with robots to deliver the same kind of product and understand smart manufacturing. Coursera, on the other hand, is uniquely positioned to empower faculty and universities to deal with this rapid change. We've partnered with about 375 universities and industries, and we bring together micro credentials in almost every discipline where the jobs are growing the fastest. And this is not only the STEM skills I'm talking about. And I'd correct myself, not only the STEAM skills that I'm talking about, but I'm also talking about human skills, right? How to interact with AI, how to, do design thinking, critical thinking, interaction across remote work environments, communication skills, and all of that as well. I think the power and the opportunity that the faculty has today is also unprecedented because they're sitting on a gold mine of resources which they can deploy in any language for students to accelerate their learning.
There used to be a situation where probably we used to look at universities as more static, obsolete kind of structures that are very hard to bring in changes and reforms. But that I think is very very fast. I mean, changing very fast.
Yeah.
Universities have started realizing that if they don't address today's requirements, they will not survive because you will have now universities from all over the world coming into India and starting their campuses. So, therefore, I also see that there is a greater readiness that is happening with the universities in the kind of things that you are bringing in terms of adapting to technology and preparing their faculty to do that, and most importantly to make sure that the curriculum is up to date and addresses what is required for today.
Thanks for that, Professor. And just if we can now get maybe some tangible examples from your side, what role have you seen this impact of everything we're talking about, AI, online learning, all the various new technology platforms? What impact have you seen it playing in your institution so far? Let's also look at parameters like the ROI, if any, that you are seeing. And how do you see this evolving in the coming years?
We are a very new university. We are just about 3 years old. We are into the year 4. But right from day one, we have seen to it that our structures remain flexible in such a way that adapting to these kind of changes would be possible. So these things we have started. Simultaneously, the AI domain is something which I think everybody is, I would say, two dimension of it. One is AI as a challenge, the other one is AI as an opportunity. Now, we started first creating a core group called the AI core group in the university, and we defined and came out with a policy. And this is to make sure how both our students and faculty can effectively make use of AI. So first thing is not to run away from it, not to say that this is a threat, so be away from it, but to use it as a tool and see how best you can make use of it. Now, as I know Prashasti said, there are a lot of things, especially in terms of at the level of information, that AI can as well do this. There is absolutely no need for you to do that, which means our pedagogy will have to change. And what is the task that we are going to give to the students has to change. And I think today's learners are very well equipped in terms of handling technology, much better than I think people of my generation anyway. Courses today are being structured on a problem solving mode. So the moment you raise a problem and try to find a solution to the problem, or your learning is to solve that problem, then multidisciplinarity not automatically comes in. So you don't have to really talk about the need for interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary learning, because it's embedded into the very process of learning, because you are trying to find a solution to a problem. I think if we can use technology and AI in particular to address this issue and use it as a tool for new ways of learning, new pedagogy, and making the learner, get involved more and more in that process, I think the learners will learn.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And, Prashasti, coming to you, maybe a slightly tough and tricky question here, but of all the digital learning trends that we are seeing, so something Coursera is so well known for, micro credentials, stackable programs, everything that Gen AI has to offer. What do you believe will be the most transformative one? Maybe there's a few, maybe there's one specifically, but what do you think will be the most transformative one when it comes to impact on higher education in India?
So I agree with what Professor Dongre is saying, right? Education is a sphere that will turn on its head. Because right now we are graduating Gen Zs, but the universities need to be prepared for Gen Alpha, who's already on the loose, right? And just think about how a Gen Alpha absorbs and interacts with the ecosystem. Professor Dongre talked about real life problem solving. I completely agree. And this is also the fastest growing skill that we could find out from our job skills report. The second piece is learning has to be in an incubator model, which means you do some sort of a fundamental learning, but the faculty sits on the side as the mentor. You do discussions, you solve a problem, you put together a project, come back to the classroom, verify, and then again unlearn and relearn. Third piece is subscription model. I don't believe education can run on a subscription model, but what I totally believe is future skills pathways. Design your own curriculum sort of a model where I want to study technology and financial derivatives together. So that's my pathway that my university is enabling it. But at the same time, I'm a student of liberal arts, but very interested in anthropology. So I will combine these two and learn them together. I'm a mechanical engineer interested in energy and environment and sustainability, and I can create my own pathway for that, which means there will be a core curriculum and there will be pathways sitting on top. And that's where these skills will kind of converge for a student to match their aptitude with the skills that are prevalent in the market or required in the job market. Interestingly, a recruiter survey said they are willing to hire people who demonstrate Gen AI skills and certifications at a 30% higher salary than any other person who does not demonstrate those skills. Computer vision, machine learning, deep learning, supervised learning, reinforcement learning, everything that's got to do with working with computers is the fastest growing skill that we are seeing on the Coursera platform today. At the same time, students are also self-aware that the jobs are available in these domains. So they are also trending in the same domains themselves, right? So the convergence is happening because AI is there as a coach, as a tutor for students to respond to their curiosity of where my careers are, where the future jobs are. In fact, what Coursera did was Coursera integrated its app into the ChatGPT environment so that people can actually directly ask, like, Coursera, I want to learn generative AI. Can you give me some examples of courses which are interesting for me? And GPT will search the Coursera environment and provide you the courses, right?
We carve out programs or pathways out of a whole lot of courses which are made available in a university. I think what Coursera would be doing typically is something of that kind. You have a whole lot of things and people can pick and choose. So we are also trying to create that kind of a structure where students, of course, there is a domain knowledge, domain expertise which is required for anybody. but then there'll have to be a possibility for the learners to navigate across disciplines, across schools, curate a kind of a program which they think would be helpful for them to solve the problem that they have in mind. In my own university, I see biotechnology students who are majoring in biotechnology doing a minor in entrepreneurship. So this way, I think we will both address the skills that are required for today and help a learner to equip himself or herself to what they want to be.
Thank you both for painting such a clear picture of what to expect. And, Professor, just to shift gears a little bit, we are understanding quite deeply what the evolving learner needs are, industry needs are. But as India prepares for this truly AI driven future, how are institutions empowering the educators themselves? Right, because ultimately they also need the right skills, the right tools, the right overall support system and mechanism to effectively teach and integrate AI into the learning, because it's a brand new system for educators too. So, how are institutions approaching this?
Last year, we did a comprehensive survey within our campus of every single individual, of the faculty, students, the admin staff, to know what is their knowledge of AI and how are they using it already. And then, as I said, we created a AI core group, and through that we started the faculty, empowerment process. So we have already done half a dozen programs with industry people, AI experts, and educators to see how faculty can make use of AI at two levels. One, in helping themselves in terms of becoming better learners and taking it forward. Second, to help students to use AI responsibly, and also a skill set to our faculty to be able to identify who is using AI in what and to what extent, because that is also, I think, very, very critical. The danger side of AI is that you might start using it as a shortcut for some of the things that, I mean, for scoring marks, suppose. But I see that majority of our students definitely have a much better sense of how to use it. We are still, I think it's still evolving. And therefore, this also a continuous process. I can't say that I have done two programs and therefore my faculty is now ready. So I think this is going to be a continuous process, which every educational institution, I think, will have to do this. But something else that we are doing is we have created some industry clusters, and our faculty and those industry groups are in continuous consultation.
Thank you for that. So important to understand both sides of the coin.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much
Great
for
conversation today.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we will wrap this episode of ET Education Presents the Leadership Dialogues in partnership with Coursera. But do stay tuned to ET Education for many more insightful, in depth conversation with the leaders who are truly shaping the growth and innovation across India's higher education landscape. Until next time, many thanks for watching.